Good evening and welcome to Thai PBS World. The situation in Hong Kong seems to be getting more and more critical, with pro-democracy demonstrators keeping up their almost daily activities to increase pressure on the administration of the territory. How is this going to end is a question that nobody seems to have a clear answer to. But tonight, we'll talk to Stanley Kang, chairman of the Joint Chambers of Commerce in Thailand, who has been keeping a close watch on the situation in Hong Kong and whose connections with the business community there gives him a good insight into how things are developing on the troubled island. So Stanley, I'm sure you must have been following the situation in Hong Kong, which is getting more and more critical. How do you think it's going to develop, and if possible, how do you predict this will end?
I think it's a very complicated case, and we do feel very, very sorry about that, right? I think Hong Kong is a pearl in the Asia, right? And especially it's a very critical, very important economic area in part of China, in this region. I think the best way is that you find the table to sit down and discuss and talk and find out what's the future for the Hong Kong.
But so far, both the Hong Kong administration and the Chinese leadership haven't shown any real interest in sitting down with these people. So we think eventually they will agree to a talk in the fashion you just mentioned.
So I still think that the Hong Kong people have to really know that what they want and really work it out, what's the best for the future of Hong Kong, especially with China. You know that recently they talk about the Great Bay Area, and Hong Kong is part of it. And right now it's a lot of complicated things. And also, like when trade war start, you know, China, in the past we don't hear trade war. But right now when trade war between China and US started, Hong Kong is also part of it in this region. Because the major exporting from China to the US is from the south part. So the trade will be much effect on the southern part, especially on the Great Bay Area. So it's a lot of complicated inside, and I think with Hong Kong before is the value of Hong Kong is the freedom there, and then people found out that they're much more freely and safe in Hong Kong. But when this kind of violence thing happen, especially this kind of demonstration, yes, it don't happen in Hong Kong. Right, so a lot of Hong Kongers, it's their first experience say that they have the right to walk on the street to talk. But I still have to tell the people, right? We understand, but I always say it's not the best way of communication, and they got to find out their way. Otherwise, I'm really worried about the future of Hong Kong.
I see. You describe Hong Kong as a pearl of this part of the world, right? Yes. Being a financial hub for decades. But there are people who believe that Hong Kong, in the eyes of the Chinese Communist leadership, may not be as important as it used to be. So it may be willing to sacrifice Hong Kong by using force to break up the demonstrations with the view of safeguarding the one country, two system policy. So you foresee the possibility of the Chinese leadership ordering the People's Liberation Armies to crack down on the demonstration?
I hope not. I hope that everybody have more patience and wisdom on the issue we are talking about, because the beauty of Hong Kong is safety and freedom, right? And then we can see the demonstration on the street is very difficult to control, right? When usually you have your clear voice, what you want will be good, but whenever the demonstration become violence, either any side started, and then the thing will become bigger, and then we'll lose the focus there. How Hong Kong people can keep their future there? I think the Hong Kong people have to be more wisdom to solve this problem. So far, as long as if Hong Kong's demonstration, they don't have go up to very serious violence, I don't think the Chinese government will get involved with that. Because they do have guarantee that they want to Hong Kong people managing Hong Kong and give them the opportunity, guarantee that 50 years no change. But if any time when Hong Kong go on to violence, especially kind of violence, they try to break down some of the public transportation and or public building. When this kind of variant tend to become serious, and then anything can be happen in the future.
Of course, I'm sure you have friends and business connections in Hong Kong. So from the talks you have with these people, do many people start to have second thought about staying in Hong Kong and maybe start thinking about moving their capital, moving the business elsewhere? Thailand, for example.
I think, of course, when all the rich people, they will not put everything in one box. They will have the risk management. So I'm not sure, maybe today the strong Thai baht currency one thing affected by the Hong Kong situation too, right? So people, they do planning. But the fundamental, I still believe fundamental Hong Kong are very strong, right? But if this kind of things you continue to keep there for a long time, people will be curious to see that what will be the next and what should they do, right? So I do hope that the Hong Kong government can resolve this problem as soon as possible, and also that the Hong Kong people have to know that if you continue to have this kind of demonstration of violence, and then at the end of the day, it just hurts Hong Kong.
Okay. Of course, your best case scenario is for both sides to sit down and talk it out, right? And what is your worst case scenario?
Okay, my worst case for China, I don't think it's a peril for China. No one going to destroy whatever the good thing with them. But if Hong Kong itself should still go on this conflict, I believe China will take some action to do some action. But I think not until the last moment, China will not send any force into Hong Kong to take care, unless they think that the security are happening there. Otherwise, I don't think they will send it that. But by Hong Kong itself, right? If the opposite party or current demonstrating party, they don't have the wisdom to find a way to discuss, right? And then they will lose the competition in Hong Kong. I know my friend wrote an article today. We really sit down and think about it. He said the Hong Kong for the world and the Hong Kong of China. So we have to understand it's before 97 and after 97. People had accepted today Hong Kong is part of China, right? So how you communicate, how you make a progress of Hong Kong, you have to find out what will be your limitation and what the thing gradually you can achieve there. So I think everybody have to have more passion and more wisdom and to solve this problem, because a lot of foreigners are living in Hong Kong.
How do you read the sentiments among business people in Hong Kong? Of course, as you know, even among the business community there, there seems to be a division of opinions. Some supporting the pro-democracy movement, right?
Yes.
And there are those who come out and say, well, we are pro-Beijing, we support the police. So,
like in the past, we all know when we go to Hong Kong, we only look 2-3 things, right? They are financial center, and they are very duty-free, right? And then there are a lot of trust there, right? So all these kind of things you can see. Whenever we talk about Hong Kong, the only thing don't put it there is politics situation, right?
That's right.
Today, if you want to turn a big economic and innovation and financial center into a politics center, and we'll lose the focus for Hong Kong. So I have a lot of foreign friends staying in Hong Kong over 20 years, and a lot of European people from different nations, they stay there. Today they feel sad. They say Hong Kong should not be like this. Right? In the past, Hong Kong, every country, they stay there. A lot of international companies, headquarters, trading center, they all put in Hong Kong, right? So they only talk about the professional and efficiency and then convenience of Hong Kong, right? But today, if all these kind of things become the politics, honestly, Kun Tech had to say that when you turn into the politics, we are default to make a judgment there because there's different power there. Right? But I think Hong Kong should still come back to be its beauty on its economic development. Right? If they lose the focus on economic development, they become politics. To China, they are too small. So they don't want a small place causing a big issue. Right? So I still have to remember back to the older people in Hong Kong to see how they find a solution there.
And that was Stanley Kang, chairman of the Joint Chambers of Commerce in Thailand, and his view on the situation in Hong Kong. Thank you for watching.